Why this book is different. This book uses metaphorical stories, fables, to help you and your children understand and remember the therapeutic concepts and techniques. Those are big words for using stories to teach good thinking skills. Such an idea is not new, and its very oldness is the reason it is such a powerful technique. The logic of the emotional mind is associative. It takes elements that symbolize a reality or trigger a memory of it to be the same as the reality. That is why similes, metaphors, and images speak directly to the emotional mind, as do the arts, novels, poetry, song, theater, and opera. Great spiritual teachers like Buddha and Jesus have touched their disciples' ears by speaking in the language of emotion, teaching in parables, fables, and stories. Indeed, religious symbol and ritual makes little sense from the rational point of view. It is couched in the vernacular of the heart. We dislike change, even change for the better. We also dislike coming to grips with our personal inadequacies. In order to accomplish the goals of this book, you will need to do both, thus the need for the fables. The fable characters often think irrationally, stinky. Their emotions are frequently too intense or inappropriate, not okay, and their consequential behavior is self-defeating, thumbs down. In other words, the characters in the stories are just like all of us. These characters also incur the negative consequences of this stinky, not okay, thumbs down sequence. The use of fables is less threatening than someone pointing out our personal thumbs down behavior. We're more receptive to understanding how we are the cause of our own personal problems. The fable allows us to see this sequence from start to finish. You see the situation, the thinking involved, how that thinking generates specific emotions and behaviors, and how those lead to the ultimate consequences. In our real lives, we are privy to only bits and pieces of this sequence. The goal is for you and your children to be able to identify the thinking in a particular situation, evaluate it, and anticipate the emotional and behavioral reactions, plus the possible consequences. The fables allow for different thinking by the characters to change the emotional and behavioral reactions, and therefore the consequences. This same process can occur in your life. Another rationale for using fables is their power to cause us to remember the lessons. In many of the fables, the main character, who refuses to change his irrational, stinky thinking, experiences very negative consequences. Just as in real life, there will be no happily ever after for those who have poor coping skills. We can recognize the obvious sequence leading to disaster in the story, but would never recognize or admit a similar event in our real life. With the metaphorical story in our memory, its similarity to our real life difficulties will trigger recognition of our stinky thinking and keep us from going down this unproductive path. Many of us are reluctant to recognize the futility in our habitual reactions to certain situations. We continue in these patterns and resist the most insightful suggestions of others. But metaphorical stories can break that bond, allowing for us to consider alternatives which may prove more effective and productive for our happiness. Philip Barker in Psychotherapeutic Metaphors states that we often get in fixed, rigid patterns of behavior and seem unable to break out of them. Metaphor can help provide the new perspective needed. Situations are common in which people keep attempting solutions to problems, but their solutions do not work. A metaphor is a way of offering new choices and new perspectives. These can lead to the resolution of conflict and the solution of many other problems. These fables are designed to provide you and your children with rational alternatives which, because of their metaphorical nature, are more readily accessible than mere rules and expectations.